call the July 22nd, 2021 Utility Board meeting to order. We could begin by calling the roll. Dr. Adams.
Present. Here.
Ms. Battle.
Here.
Mr. Deal.
Here.
Mr. Loeb.
Here.
And the mayor is here. Do we have any opening remarks? Dr. Adams.
None.
Ms. Battle.
None.
Mr. Deal.
None.
Mr. Loeb.
I'd just like to thank Stacy and Jeff for the tour yesterday. Having a group together for us is very informative. And there is an awful lot that we do to treat our wastewater before it goes into the river. And it's amazing to see it firsthand.
Well, I would echo what Mr. Loeb said. The other thing, when I realized, I think I went to a wastewater treatment plant one time when I was on the city commission. So that was over 20 years ago. I'd been out there. We need to do a better job of communicating to the community what really goes on out there and the valuable role those employees play. I mean, it struck me when we were talking about spending, $200,000 on a rake, and the folks from the wastewater treatment plant were trying to explain to us what it is, and I'm sitting here, I knew that if I need to go out there and see what we're talking about, and it's very informative and educational and beneficial, and I think there's some way we can put together, I know we have that video, but something that's professional and we can run it on Channel 16. I think that would be a huge plus for us. The next item on the agenda is consideration and approval of the minutes. We had the minutes. Well, first, let's consider the July 8th regular meeting. Are there any comments or concerns about the July 8th regular meeting? If not, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Dr. Adams?
None. None.
Ms. Battle?
None.
Mr. Deal?
None. None.
Mr. Loeb?
None.
So we're calling the question regarding the approval of the minutes from the July 8th regular meeting. Dr. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Battle?
Yes.
Mr. Deal?
Yes.
Mr. Loeb?
Yes.
Mayor votes yes. And next, we had a conference call, and apparently it was a special call meeting last Friday. Ms. Williams has basically summarized the presentation. Does anybody have any questions or concerns about what has been presented to us as the minutes of the July 16, 2021 special call meeting? Dr. Adams?
None.
Ms. Battle?
None.
Mr. Deal?
None.
Slobe?
And I just apologize. I didn't realize that I'd had a conflict when I accepted the invitation.
Well, I mean, I really don't know if it was a special call meeting.
Well, because of the makeup of the board, once you get a quorum,
Okay.
you have to have that.
Have to.
All right, okay. I stand corrected. For those who might not have heard, I didn't get a notice of a special call meeting. Of course, I was advised, and Ms. Williams coordinated the date, which was convenient for everybody. And so what Mr. Carter's saying, that obviously since it's an open meeting issue, it is considered a special call meeting. But with that, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the July 16, 2021 special call meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, is there a second? Motion and a second. Any discussion? Dr. Adams?
None. None.
Ms. Battle?
None.
Mr. Deal?
None.
Slobe?
None.
With that, we'll call the question. Dr. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Battle?
Yes.
Mr. Deal?
Yes.
Slow.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and so the minutes from the July 16, 2021 special call meeting are approved as presented. The next item on the agenda is consideration of the proposed Walmart solar initiative. And of course, that was the topic of our, meeting last Friday. Mr. Stock, are you going to be handling it?
He's not here. I'm going to speak in his behalf.
Okay. Ms. Carter?
Walmart has requested the City of Albany to consider participation in the Walmart Solar Initiative, in which Walmart is partnering with MEAG Power to procure qualified solar renewable energy credits for their Walmart stores served by MEAG Power participant cities. Details of the Walmart Solar Initiative were provided to the utility at December 17th. Updates given on February 11th, July 8th, and finally July 16th, that special call meeting we were just talking about. Walmart has reached an understanding with the Electric Cities of Georgia on the proposed renewable energy customer agreement and the Eureka tariff. MEAG Power has completed negotiation with Pineview Solar, LLC, to provide solar energy and the associated renewable energy credits to MEAG Power participant cities. ECG and MEAG Power are requesting a response and sign contracts by August 13, 2021, if the city would like to participate in the Walmart Solar Initiative. There's a couple items. The Walmart Solar purchase contract the solar power purchase contract, which is the agreement between the city and MEAG to acquire the power that MEAG has acquired from their solar provider. And then there's the renewable energy customer agreement, which is an agreement between Walmart and the city to transfer those renewable energy credits to Walmart as a result of that purchase. The staff is asking this board to consider what direction we should go and give us guidance as to how to move forward.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Carter? Dr. Adams?
Yes, if I understood it correctly, as explained by the CEO of MEAG, that agreement between Walmart and the individual city, that was a 5-year exit possibility on the part of Walmart. From what I understand from him, that will not put any more liability on the individual cities if the contract between Walmart and the city is terminated. Am I correct in understanding that?
The agreement stipulates that any early termination by Walmart, even if Walmart exits at that 15-year mark, there are penalties to make the city whole throughout that full 20-year agreement with the cities and MEAG.
Okay, I understand that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Battle?
You're muted. You're muted, ma'am.
Okay, they unmuted me, sorry. Well, I'd just like to hear the city manager's take on this. Do you think this is beneficial for Albany? I know that we want to definitely keep a relationship with Walmart. Other than that, what do you think?
Well, there's not a large financial gain for the city. There's a small financial gain that's available throughout the course of that 20 years, but it's not significant. What the more significant portion of that is the relationship between us and Walmart. There is unlikely that they will pull stores out of Albany, but this may be a factor in consideration of new stores and location of new stores. Particularly if there's an opportunity to locate that store where a non-MEAG non-Albany utility provider can provide their utilities for that store. So that's kind of a consideration that we may want to think about. We also have the opportunity to kind of stick our toe in the water as far as solar or renewable energy is concerned. So that's another way of kind of entering into that market. But if we're looking for a financial gain, this is really not that. It's more of a relationship with our Walmarts, and it's a kind of a feel-good opportunity for the city to say it's into the solar energy market.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Deal.
Yeah, Stephen, I think that what you said really hit the nail on the head. I'm more concerned about what it does to our relationship with Walmart rather than what it does to our relationship with MEAG. And it looks to me like it would be perceived as a negative move not to approve this in the eyes of Walmart.
I would think they would view it that way.
That's all.
Okay. Ms. Logue?
I agree with Jim and with Mr. Carter. I think it's important because we have lost a Walmart store in the past. That has had a negative impact on sales tax revenues because they do generate quite a few sales tax benefits for us. This is also the first step. I think that Stephen's right in that there's very little downside for us. This would be a good showing to Walmart, but also to MEAG. I don't want us to forget that we do want to have a voice on the MEAG board. We did just get back from the MEAG annual meeting.
Yep.
I, as a first timer, had an opportunity to take what they call the MEAG 101 course, and smack dab up on the board when MEAG was created. Gail Manley from Albany was a founding board member. So, we do have a long history. We're one of the largest participants that MEAG has. The thing I like too, and Bo, I'm sure that MEAG's probably told you this, one of the concerns that we've talked about as a group is why is MEAG not generating its own solar? Why are we, purchasing? Well, this is the first step. Their actual long-term plan, and I think it's supposed to come online in late 22 or 23, is solar generation by us as participants in MEAG. So, I think this does allow us to put our toe in the water. And as we've talked about from an economic development standpoint, we want more customers, more and more. If we want to try to lure some larger corporate businesses here, if we want folks to expand, many are concerned about the mix. We are in a good position because we've got very clean energy resources now because of the choices that we've made with MEAG. And this would just allow us to expand on that. I mean, albeit a very small portion, it does allow us to say that we are in the solar business. And so but much like Jim, I think that that it would not be a good thing if we do not approve this.
Okay. I'm going to vote against it, but I mean, it's not going to be a catastrophic decision either way. I don't think, Carter, if you look at the numbers, the financial impact is really sort of negligible.
Right.
And I do want to respond because I feel like, you said, well, Mr. Durr, if you're a proponent of solar and we have a chance to change our energy mix, you're rejecting it. My concern here is the same thing it was at the first of the year, is that really in this transaction, we're nothing more than a straw man. And as I mentioned to the MEAG representatives on Friday, this is an opportunity for MEAG to be a producer and not just a broker of energy. I mean, I don't see why MEAG didn't take the initiative or does not take the initiative to generate this electricity. What you're talking about here is credits, not actual solar power going to your customer. We understand that, but I mean, I would suspect that MEAG's been quite late to the dance because they understand, looking at the numbers, what Vogel's capacity is through the past our lifetime. 2055, 2060 is going to meet the current demands of its members. But energy consumption, production is changing rapidly. We've talked about that before. What I feel like the city of Albany could have a solar farm to produce its own What this tells us, though, is there is a demand for solar power. And I think you're going to see more and more of it. I do want to briefly comment. I mean, one member, either the gentleman from ECG or from MEAG, pointed out that some cities are signing on to this just to maintain as an accommodation. I shouldn't say maintain, but as an accommodation to Walmart, because as has been pointed out, Walmart being such a retail power does generate a lot of sales tax revenue. I understand that, but there again, you know, I also think it's somewhat unfair for us to be presented with this late July, and I know this is not the first time we've discussed it, and we wanted an answer by August 13th, but that's my feelings about this. So with that, what would we call for a motion to approve the contracts as presented?
Yes, sir.
Would that be right?
Before you, Mr. Mayor, may
Yes.
I make a comment? I'd certainly appreciate it and understand your concerns, but I must state at this moment that the city and the county, and I'm sure you remember this, the city and the county struggled very hard to get Walmart to relocate, give us a presence over on the east side, where we had a lot of crime and other unfavorable activities taking place, and it cleaned up that area over the east side for us, and we have a very good unit, a Walmart unit on that side. So I just personally feel that we need to maintain a good relationship with that organization. They came to our rescue at the time when we needed them. So I certainly think this is an opportunity to show that we're grateful for what they did for us. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, okay. So at this time, the chair would entertain a motion, and that is, I guess the motion would be to approve the contracts, authorize staff to execute the contracts as presented so that we might facilitate the Walmart Solar Initiative.
That's explanatory.
Is that good enough? Okay.
Yeah, so
moved.
A motion, motion and a second. All right, any discussion? Dr. Adams?
no discussion.
Okay. Okay. Ms. Battle? Any discussion, Ms. Battle? Mr. Deal?
None.
Okay. Ms. Logue?
None.
Okay. I would just say that the city made a lot of concessions to get Walmart here. We're not talking about closing the entrance to Walmart. So, I mean, but I do want to acknowledge that one of the gentlemen from MEAG or ECG did say that some cities are entering these agreements primarily as an accommodation or concession to Walmart. So I understand that. But with that, we have a motion and a second. We'll call the roll. Dr. Adams for a voice vote.
Yes.
Ms. Battle?
You're muted.
You're muted, Brenda.
I think you pressed the wrong. I think you pressed the wrong button again.
Yeah.
So sorry, they keep muting me. I vote yes.
Okay, Mr. Deal?
Yes.
Ms. Logue?
Yes.
Mayor votes no. Next item on the agenda is the appointment of a representative to act on behalf of the city regarding its membership with Georgia Public Web. And it's my understanding here that Ms. Subadan is currently the representative, and what the proposal is to designate Mr. Carter as the representative. Would that be correct?
That is correct. I also serve on the Georgia Public Web Board, and there's a difference between the board voting and the membership voting. And we're asking in this particular document is to assign me the role of the membership voting as well as the board member.
Okay. And Ms. Carter, can you explain to us what the Georgia Public Web is?
Georgia Public Web is it was a spinoff from MEAG to provide connectivity between their substations. It has subsequently grown into an organization that provides internet services throughout the state of Georgia. Albany Utilities, their telecom division, is a partner with Georgia Public Web. They're their primary provider of our internet services that we resell to our customers.
Okay. All right. We understand that. Any questions for Mr. Carter? Dr. Adams?
No question. I'm having a little bit difficulty in hearing them. I don't know whether it's the microphone or.
Okay. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Do you want Mr. Carter to speak again?
No. I think.
Okay. I'll move.
Service.
Well, I've got is this a microphone?
Yeah.
The speaker right in front of me, and so I'll move it over when somebody else speaks, I guess.
It doesn't sound like there is one up here. There's just not one.
No, one here. Okay. All right. Ms. Battle, any questions for Mr. Carter?
It appears
Brenda,
you said
you're
no
muted.
questions.
No questions.
Mr. Deal?
No questions.
Mr. Loeb?
No questions.
Okay, the chair would entertain a motion to designate Stephen Carter as the city's representative to act on its behalf in matters pertaining to its membership in the Georgia Public Web.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Dr. Adams?
None.
Ms. Battle?
None.
Mr. Deal?
None.
Ms. Loeb?
None.
We'll call the question for a voice vote. Dr. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Battle?
Yes.
Mr. Deal?
Yes.
Loeb?
Yes.
Air votes yes. The next item on the agenda is further consideration of the policy regarding participation of board members in person, virtually, or remotely. We've been discussing this the last few meetings, and Mr. Carter gave us the presentation. You have further information today, Mr. Carter.
Yes, sir. I sent out a revised version of that to the group a few days ago. Didn't get much feedback. I got a few changes from the city attorney. I've incorporated those changes that he's asked for and provided a new copy of that to the board last night. I'm again looking for either approval to move forward or for input if we need changes.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Carter or any proposals as to how we should proceed with this policy? Dr. Adams?
None. As I understand it, it'd be a mixture. As it stands now, it's a mixture of being physically present and being able to do it remotely. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. And that is a continued request, continued process in the new policy.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Battle, any questions?
No questions for me.
Mr. Deal?
Mayor, I just have a concern. I got some information from Phoebe earlier this week that only approximately 35 or 36% of Dougherty County's population has been vaccinated. Have you received the same information?
I think that's about correct. The last time I saw, but what happened, Mr. Deal, it got up, it was creeping up. When it's got to 30, it was just incrementally, but it's kind of flatlined about 35%. So I think that's.
Well, I tell you what concern, I mean, I think this policy is fine that Mr. Carter has presented to us, giving us the option, but it concerns me that we are returning or apparently returning somewhat to a normal procedure here in the county when so few people have been vaccinated. I wish we could come up with something that would encourage vaccination of the majority of our county.
Well, I obviously agree with you, Mr. Deal, but if you have the answers, I mean, we've had experts from the CDC come down, and as I've said before, I remember meeting with the group on a Monday, and the one lady is a psychologist. She basically said, "I can tell you what we're gonna find," and true enough, the numbers sort of mirrored what her projections were. I'm exasperated. I mean, it's just, what more can you do to tell people to get vaccinated? But folks, I mean, a lot of people have legitimate concerns, reservations about it, and I think we need to respect that. But clearly, also, I mean, that's a dilemma we have. Folks that aren't vaccinated should be expected to wear a mask when they go out in public. And I mean, how do you enforce that when you don't have a state of emergency? So, I mean, I don't.
Well, hey, Mayor, if I get some divine inspiration, I'll share it with you, because I have no idea either how to convince people to get vaccinated. It just seems unreal to me that, you know, you could possibly be looking at a death sentence, and all you got to do is have a couple of shots and be protected. But you're right; we have to respect others' opinion.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to be kind of heavy-handed when I say that, Ms. Deal. I'm just, as a matter of fact, I mean, look, I think it's in today's paper. It talks about that Mr. Miller talked about how many people in the healthcare industry aren't vaccinated.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
as a healthcare provider, hello?
Yes, sir.
I say, as a healthcare provider, I feel that I should at least make a comment on this issue. As many of you may or may not know, for the months I've been serving over at the Dougherty County Health Department as a vaccinator. And when I first came over, we were doing about 200 per day. Now is doing it down to if we do 50 per day.
I'm sorry, Dr. Adams. How many per day?
What's very encouraging, if we do 50 per day, we're doing good now. It's dwindled down from 200 per day to about 50 per day. But what's encouraging, what we're seeing now, we're seeing an upsurge of young people, 15 through 18 that are coming in now. I think with this variant that a lot of people are getting concerned now. And I watched the news yesterday, and a lot of people who national leaders who were against, who were maybe not against, but reluctant to recommend vaccination are coming aboard. And I think some of the politics may be being removed from this issue of vaccination. And as a healthcare provider, personally, I think it's less than smart, not to consider such a life and death issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Adams. Mr. Deal, anything else?
No, that's all.
Yes, sir. And I'll speak when it's my turn. All right, Ms. Logue. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to bring us back to the issue at hand.
Yeah.
And I think, although, but I also have a comment on the back. No. I also have a comment too on the vaccination. Because it is an extremely important issue, and it's something that's of concern to all of us.
Yes.
And actually, before we get back to the issue at hand, I'm going to go ahead and make my comment. I'm a big guy. I'm also of that age where I'm becoming more and more mature every day. So, those are the two biggest factors, I think, and it certainly encouraged me to be vaccinated. It is a personal decision. What I would do is encourage everybody to talk to their doctors, and do what is right. That's all I will have to say there. But as far as the policy goes, I think it's good. My silence, Stephen, was agreement. So with what you had provided. So if Nathan has taken care of details and cleaned things up as they need to be, then I would say that I think that we should go ahead and approve the new policy.
Okay, I would say, now the one thing, back to what Mr. Logue said about the 35%, the numbers for people who are 65 and older are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I think 75 and 80, and we all know those, that age band, as they say, are most susceptible to becoming seriously ill. But getting back to this is a policy that actually will extend long beyond COVID. I mean, I think what it's doing is it's giving members of this board an opportunity to participate remotely. And with Zoom, some things we maybe didn't have in years gone by, that is an option. But I mean, I think we need to have a policy. The same thing with the city commission. I've brought it up several times, and some of my colleagues don't seem to want to consider it. And I think that's because at least a couple of commissioners are at a place now where they would rather participate remotely.
True.
And but it's a decision we need to make, and because I mean we're like I say we're out of the state of emergency now. Obviously, Mr. Steele's point is well taken that the virus is still with us, and people continue to get infected. But this policy, like I say, is a policy for the administration and operation of the board, which will extend beyond the pandemic. Right. And I just think it's appropriate. But again, the preference here is that members attend in person. And I think, and I can tell you from the perspective of trying to run the meeting, it's a lot easier when everybody's in one place. But be that as it may, would any member, is any member prepared to make a motion to adopt the policy?
Can I interrupt for a second, Mayor? Is this just the participation choices to participate on page 2, or y'all looking at the entire policy to approve it? The yellow I've added comes from open meetings and open record provisions, because as a committee established by the city, this was subject to those. And you can see I've added a number of them, and I'm still working on page 4 on items 3 and 4, the Roman numeral one. So
okay. So
you have some other things you want to put in there? Then
yeah, I'm trying to reconcile. These appear to be broader than the open meetings allow.
Okay.
So I'm trying to
find
something for 3 and 4 on page 4. Yes, sir.
Another option would be to continue this. I don't think it's a pressing. It is an important decision, but particularly if Nathan's looking at some of the legal issues involved, and I frankly, I didn't get this email. I didn't check it last night. So if there be a...
Well, that was me again. I got it late to Mr. Carter. So
okay. Well, no. I mean, I just
didn't want you
but I mean, I've seen the previous iterations.
I highlighted those areas that the attorney changed.
So if, well, whatever the will of the board is, but we could certainly continue it to the first meeting in August and discuss it then. But
I would suggest that, since he is still making changes.
I was going to say that would be my suggestion too.
So then
I agree.
Could we have a motion to continue this?
Motion to continue.
Second.
Motion to table, the motion to continue. Either one.
Forward to table it till whenever you want to.
Okay.
More motion to table.
Okay, to the first utility board meeting in August. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion, Dr. Adams?
I'm not an expert on Robert Rules of Order, but a motion to table, does it have room for discussion, or just a vote? Nathan?
Oh yeah, that can be debated. Yes, sir.
Okay, then I stand corrected.
Well, I don't think we'll spend a lot of time on it, but, okay. Okay. Ms. Battle, any discussion?
No discussion.
Mr. Deal?
No, Stephen, I think you've done a good job, and I don't think it'll hurt us to wait till the next meeting to approve it.
I don't know.
Ms. Loeb?
None.
Okay, call for a voice vote, the motion to table this item to the first meeting in August. Dr. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Battle?
Yes.
Mr. Deal?
Yes.
Mr. Loeb?
Yeah.
Mayor votes yes. Are there other matters to come before the utility board this morning? Dr. Adams?
None.
Ms. Battle?
None.
Mr. Deal?
None.
And Mr. Loeb?
Nothing.
Okay. I had two items. It sort of came up. I was reminded of it last night, but I had mentioned this some months before when the electricity was out for some time. I think it was a Saturday afternoon, but I had requested that someone, and Mr. Stock did give us an update one time, but we have a policy where the utility board is promptly notified when there's an outage in the utility board service area. And also, I think it'd be appropriate to identify the issue with the city commission. And like I say, I remember one time Mr. Stock, or maybe more than once, provided that information rather promptly. And one reason I assume members of the utility board are going to be contacted by customers of the utility board. Likewise, city commissioners get calls, and that way we'd have some information. The other thing is, I would like there to be some situation in the case of an emergency, like a major power outage or a flood, that I, as the chairman and the mayor, could actually be involved in the recovery. I mean, just know where folks are at or what's going on, because I think that would be appropriate. We can address that at a later date. And then what we learned yesterday, there's a machine, DAFT, I think, and I don't know, I forget what that stands for, out at the water treatment plant. It's been there since the improvements, I think, in 1972. And Mr. Griffin, it was explained that there are plans for a gravity fed, that this DAFT machine has outlived its useful life, and I think we need a presentation on the condition of that and the proposal to replace it and possible funding sources for it until it gets to the point where it absolutely just breaks down. And because it's equipment like this, and it's got a useful life. And we went through the various improvements out there at the wastewater treatment plant, and the early 70s, what was installed in the early 70s is probably at or beyond its useful life. And so I think we ought to have some information about that so we can
pull something together for you.
Okay. Items for a future agenda. I guess that was an item for a future agenda. Dr. Adams. Okay. Ms. Battle? Dr. Adams? Looks like he's playing volleyball. Ms. Battle? Mr. Deal?
Stephen, one question for you. When you come back with the, recommendation for the utility board meeting policy, could you also consider giving us a date when it would be okay to return, if we so desired, to an in-person meeting?
Well, sir,
I think we've passed that point.
Yeah, based on, again, the city commission just recently rescinded the mask mandate for city facilities. The county has already done that. The governor has lifted all the state of emergencies and the executive orders. It's actually a personal choice at this point.
Okay, so you're prepared for us to be there in person?
Absolutely, sir. We have a group of people around the table right now.
Okay, good deal. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And if I could interrupt, Ms. Deal, I think we talked about that 2 meetings ago, that if somebody's fully vaccinated, I think that was a condition. I think we had one member who had was not vaccinated, and we said that would be a condition, if I'm correct. Is that right, Ms.?
That was the consensus of this.
So that would give you the assurance that everybody at this table has been fully vaccinated, or at least they're representing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was the case, but I wasn't sure that we had a final decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Logan?
No, I agree with you about the presentation on what we would do to replace that DAF process.
Okay.
And if I understood correctly from yesterday, it seems like something's in the works on looking at options and costs and things of that nature.
Yeah, we'll bring that to you guys.
All right. Well, I was just thinking in the future, Ms. Logan, as opposed to we get an agenda and we have to spend $283,000 on these rakes, and what are these? That we sort of get a little orientation before.
Yeah, I know, and it's helpful too when we've been out there and we understand if Hughes or Stacy or somebody comes in and or Andy and they explain something to us, that now I'll have an idea of exactly what they're talking about. And like you were saying, those bars that were being replaced and the rakes, that's on the front end of the process. I understand that now, and they are extremely important. But I do agree with you, and I think another good example is what we're going through with separation of stormwater and wastewater. It's we need to be trying to maintain things as we go along, and do a little here and a little there all along, rather than having to play catch up at some point in the future.
Right. That's the mode that we're in now. We have a capital improvement process that we look at every year for capital investments. Unfortunately, we're behind the 8 ball trying to catch up on things. So
absolutely,
but that is the way we're working.
And that's a very good thing. Thank you.
Well, with that, all other matters being identified and items for next agenda haven't been identified, I want to tell everybody we appreciate your attendance, your participation.